In this video, I'm going to give you some useful vocabulary for describing graphs in English. So, let's get started. First of all, let's look at the different graphs and bar charts which exist to describe information. This is a line graph. This is a bar chart. This is a pie chart. Now, let me give you some useful sentences and vocabulary for presenting figures and trends. First of all, here are some sentences to present your visual aid. First, I'd like to show you. As you will see from this graph, let me draw your attention to this part of the graph. Let's look more closely at this year's figures. This figure refers to this pie chart shows our share of the market. You may notice that our main competitor has an even bigger share. This bar chart represents. Here are a few sentences for describing line graphs. On this line graph, you can notice the overall performance is good. The initial surge in sales was followed by a period of slower growth in the second half of the year. A strong upward or downward trend in the sales with occasional variations despite occasional fluctuations, with a slight drop during the holiday season. Now, let me give you some useful vocabulary for commenting on trends. Firstly, let's look at the different words you can use to describe increases. A slight, constant, marked, substantial increase in sales. About, roughly, approximately, in the region of certain percent. Sales reached record levels, reached a peak in a strong surge in the sales by a certain month, the figure had risen to. We predict that sales will soar in the coming year, or over the next month's quarter, a little over or above what was predicted. The recovery or upturn began in an overall increase in an upward trend in the demand for. Secondly, let's look at the words you can use to describe decreases. A slight, notable, significant decrease in. The downturn began in. The situation began to deteriorate in. The number has continued to fall just under our target, way below our expectations. Thirdly, let's look at the vocabulary you can use to describe increases. Normal, seasonal variations are caused of occasional downward trends. Sales have been rather irregular. The level or rate has been unstable since. A slow start developed into steady progress in sales. An initial upward trend was followed by. We note slight fluctuations throughout the year. You will note a certain instability in the rate of. To finish, let's look at the different ways of concluding on visual aids. These changes are inevitable. We will have to revise our estimation. The result or outcome will be. I strongly recommend. To conclude, I am happy or I regret to announce that. We must focus our attention on. What I suggest is. There is a necessity for. We need more. We have no choice but to. Appropriate measures must be taken. The only option we have is to. Now, please take the quiz to check if you can remember the vocabulary and sentences I have given you for describing graphs. Good luck!